Before you kill a man who built nuclear reactors for dictators, you wait for him to laugh. August 1st, 2008. 10:47 p.m. Tartus, Syria. 1 mile offshore, a luxury yacht rocks gently on black water. No running lights, no engine noise, just the Mediterranean breathing beneath the hull. 2 men lie prone on the deck. Israeli naval commandos from Shayetet 13, Israel's elite sea-to-land unit. Their rifles are fitted with suppressors. Each weapon rests on a stabilized bipod, compensating for the yacht's motion. Through night vision optics, they watch a villa on the beach. On the terrace, illuminated by soft yellow light, sits Brigadier General Muhammad Suleiman, Syria's most protected military advisor. The man Israel has been hunting for 11 months. He's dining with guests, laughing, relaxed. The lead sniper's earpiece crackles. Electronic confirmation. Target positively identified. Authorization granted. Both snipers adjust for wind, for distance, for the yacht's subtle pitch and roll. Their fingers rest on triggers. Breath control begins. Heartbeats slow. A single beep in their earpieces. 2 suppressed shots break the silence. Synchronized. Precise. Suleiman jerks violently. His head snaps back. Blood sprays across the white tablecloth. Guests scream and scatter. By the time Syrian security rushes to the terrace, the yacht has vanished into darkness. Commandos, weapons, and boat dissolve into the night sea. Israel has just executed the first confirmed assassination of a legitimate foreign government official in its history. And the operation was so surgical, so technically perfect, that Syria won't even acknowledge it happened for 4 days. This is the story of how Mossad and Shayetet 13 turned a Mediterranean yacht into a sniper platform, and why one man's death was worth risking an international incident. To understand why Israel needed Suleiman dead, you need to understand who he was and what he built. Muhammad Suleiman wasn't a public figure. No press conferences, no televised speeches. Most Syrians had never heard his name. But inside the Assad regime, he was indispensable. Born in 1959 to an aristocratic Alawite family, Suleiman excelled at engineering. He graduated from Damascus University's College of Mechanical Engineering in 1985, then entered the military college, emerging as a captain engineer. His technical brilliance caught the attention of Bashar al-Assad, Hafez al-Assad's eldest son and original heir. When Bashar died in a 1994 car accident, Bashar al-Assad inherited the presidency. Suleiman transferred his loyalty seamlessly, becoming Bashar's director of special operations. He managed sensitive military procurement, coordinated with Hezbollah and Iran, oversaw arms transfers to Lebanon. Israel's military intelligence, known as Aman, called him extraordinarily capable. Mossad director Mir Dagan nicknamed him Commander of the Shadow Army. But his most dangerous project remained hidden until 2007. Deep in Syria's eastern desert, near Deir ez-Zor, construction crews were building something that didn't match any known Syrian military facility. Israeli satellites photographed suspicious structures. Mossad agents on the ground reported North Korean technicians arriving in Damascus. Unit 8200, Israel's Signals Intelligence Division, intercepted communications mentioning nuclear materials. The pieces assembled into a terrifying picture. Syria was building a nuclear reactor, with North Korean assistance, capable of producing weapons-grade plutonium. The reactor, designated Al-Kibar, was designed to look exactly like North Korea's Yongbyon facility. Same configuration, same capacity. One purpose: building nuclear weapons. And Suleiman was the project's architect. He handled security, managed construction, coordinated with North Korean engineers, facilitated Iranian funding. For Israel, this crossed an existential red line. Israel's strategic doctrine, established by Prime Minister Menachem Begin in 1981, is absolute. Hostile Middle Eastern states will not acquire nuclear weapons. Not Iraq in 1981, not Syria in 2007, not Iran ever. On September 6, 2007, Israeli F-15 fighters bombed Al-Kibar into rubble. Operation Orchard destroyed the reactor before it could produce a single gram of plutonium. Syria demolished what remained and built a new structure on top, trying to hide the evidence. But destroying the reactor didn't eliminate the knowledge. Suleiman knew the designs, the suppliers, the technical specifications. He maintained relationships with North Korean scientists and Iranian Revolutionary Guard commanders. As long as Suleiman lived, Syria could rebuild. He was the institutional memory of Syria's nuclear ambitions. Israel's intelligence assessment was clear. The reactor was destroyed, but the architect remained operational. Suleiman continued coordinating arms shipments to Hezbollah. He maintained Syria's chemical weapons program. He was Assad's fixer for anything too sensitive for official channels. In February 2008, Israel and the CIA jointly assassinated Imad Mughnieh, Hezbollah's military commander, in Damascus using a car bomb. According to multiple intelligence sources, Suleiman reacted with rage. He reportedly proposed a massive chemical missile attack on Israeli cities. Assad rejected the plan, but the proposal revealed Suleiman's mindset. He wasn't just an administrator. He was actively planning strikes against Israel. For Mossad, the calculation was strategic. Suleiman represented continuity of threat. His technical expertise, personal relationships, and institutional knowledge made him irreplaceable. Syrian intelligence couldn't simply promote someone else into his role. The decision was made at the highest levels of Israeli government. Suleiman would be eliminated, but the method had to send a precise message. Israel could reach anyone, anywhere, even inside Syria's borders, without leaving evidence that could trigger war. The problem was access. Suleiman lived in Damascus, surrounded by Syrian security. He traveled with armed guards. He varied his routes. He was paranoid, with good reason, but intelligence work is patient, and everyone has patterns. Locating Suleiman required combining human intelligence with technological surveillance. Mossad couldn't just follow him through Damascus. Syrian counterintelligence was too sophisticated. Instead, Israeli intelligence built a network of indirect observations. Ali Jarrah, a Lebanese mechanic arrested in 2008, had been working for Mossad for years. According to Lebanese authorities, Jarrah scouted locations in Tartus, Syria's coastal city. He mapped roads, photographed buildings, noted security patterns. He didn't know the specific target. That information was compartmentalized, but his reconnaissance laid groundwork. Unit 8200 monitored Syrian military communications. They tracked Suleiman's phone without accessing content, just metadata, call patterns, timing, location pings. This revealed travel habits. When he left Damascus, where he went, how long he stayed. Satellites photographed Suleiman's villa in Tartus repeatedly. The compound sat on the beach at Al-Rimal Al-Zahabiyah Resort, a luxury development 9 miles north of Tartus city. Syrian regime officials frequented the area. Good security, but not military grade. The villa had a terrace overlooking the Mediterranean. Perfect line of sight from the water. Then came the critical observation. Suleiman hosted dinner parties on Friday evenings. Same location, same routine. He felt safe there. The villa was technically in a secure area, but the open terrace gave him a false sense of protection. Syrian security focused on land approaches, not the sea. Mossad's targeting cell built a detailed profile. Suleiman typically arrived at the villa Friday afternoon. He would dine with guests on the terrace around 10:30 p.m. The meal lasted an hour. During this window, he was exposed, visible from the water, and predictable. Israeli planners faced a decision: how to execute the assassination without leaving evidence. A car bomb risked collateral casualties and would be obviously Israeli tradecraft. A ground team couldn't easily extract from the middle of Syria. An airstrike would be an act of war. The solution was elegant: a maritime approach. Israel's Shayetet 13 naval commandos specialized in sea-to-land operations. They had been conducting covert missions in enemy territory since 1949. They could approach silently, strike from offshore, and disappear before Syrian forces responded. But shooting from a moving boat presented extraordinary technical challenges. The target was approximately 1,600 meters from the proposed firing position. Any yacht closer would be suspicious. At that distance, compensating for wave motion, wind drift, and target movement required specialized equipment and exceptional skill. Mossad consulted with Shayetet 13's sniper instructors. Could this be done? The answer was yes, but it required custom preparation. The yacht would need stabilization equipment. The rifles would need suppressed barrels to minimize sound signature. The shooters would need weeks of training to synchronize their shots despite the moving platform. Israeli intelligence obtained the villa's exact coordinates using satellite imagery and ground-level photography. They calculated optimal firing positions based on tidal patterns, moon phases, and local weather data. The final component was confirmation. Israel needed real-time intelligence the night of the operation. Was Suleiman actually at the villa? Was he on the terrace? According to sources cited in books by Israeli military historians Michael Bar-Zohar and Nissim Mishal, Mossad had an asset who could confirm Suleiman's presence the night of the operation. The confirmation came through. Target is at location. Authorization granted. Everything converged: the target, the method, and the window of opportunity. Shooting from a yacht in open water sounds simple until you understand the physics. At 1,600 meters, even a perfect shot on stable ground requires extraordinary skill. From a floating platform, it becomes a problem of engineering as much as marksmanship. Shayetet 13 selected 2 snipers for the mission. Their names remain classified. Both had years of experience in maritime operations. Both had completed Israel's elite sniper course, considered one of the most demanding in the world. But this mission required new skills. The primary challenge was the yacht's motion. Even calm Mediterranean water creates pitch and roll. Pitch is the fore and aft rocking motion. Roll is side to side. Both continuously change the rifle's angle relative to the target. At 1,600 meters, a 1-degree shift translates to 28 meters of deviation. Unacceptable for a headshot. Israeli armorers modified 2 rifles specifically for this mission. The rifles were probably Accuracy International AWM-style guns, chambered in 338 Lapua Magnum. This cartridge offers excellent long-range performance with manageable recoil. The barrels were fitted with custom suppressors, designed not to eliminate sound entirely, but to reduce the signature enough that someone on the beach wouldn't immediately identify it as gunfire. The rifles were mounted on specialized bipods with hydraulic stabilization. These weren't commercial products. Israeli military engineers designed them to compensate for wave motion by using gyroscopic sensors and motorized adjustments. The system didn't eliminate movement, but it reduced variance to acceptable levels. Snipers trained for weeks on a similar yacht off Israel's coast. They practiced shooting at targets positioned at equivalent distances. They learned to time their shots to the yacht's natural rhythm, firing during the brief moment when pitch and roll neutralized each other. This required intense focus and perfect coordination between the two shooters. Why two snipers? Redundancy and synchronization. If one rifle malfunctioned, the other could still complete the mission. More importantly, two simultaneous shots increased hit probability. At extreme range, even minor atmospheric conditions affect bullet trajectory. Wind gusts, temperature gradients, humidity. Two shots from slightly different positions compensated for these variables. The ammunition was hand-loaded to exacting standards. Each cartridge was weighed, measured, and tested. Consistency was critical. Timing the mission required considering multiple factors. The yacht needed to arrive in position after dark, but while Suleiman was still dining. Weather conditions were monitored obsessively. Wind speed above 5 knots would make the shot too difficult. Cloud cover was necessary to avoid moonlight reflecting off the yacht's white hull. Sea state had to remain calm, wave heights under 1 meter. On August 1, 2008, conditions aligned. Light wind, overcast sky, calm sea. The yacht departed from international waters and approached Syrian coast with no running lights. Navigation was by GPS and night vision equipment. At 10:35 p.m., the yacht reached its firing position. The snipers verified target acquisition through thermal optics. Suleiman was on the terrace, clearly visible, seated with his back partially to the sea. Guests were present, but far enough away that the suppressed shots wouldn't panic them immediately. The electronic authorization came through, a single beep in each sniper's earpiece. They had trained for this moment so many times that conscious thought became unnecessary. Muscle memory took over. Breathing slowed. Crosshairs settled. Fingers compressed triggers smoothly, simultaneously. The shots took approximately 2.5 seconds to reach the target. Both rounds hit Suleiman. One struck his head, the other his chest. The general died instantly. Guests on the terrace initially didn't realize what happened. The suppressed gunfire sounded like distant thumps, not the sharp crack of unsuppressed rifles. Only when Suleiman collapsed, blood spreading across the white tablecloth, did panic begin. By then, the snipers were packing equipment. The yacht's engine started, throttle pushed forward, heading back to international waters. Syrian Coast Guard boats would later search the area, but found nothing. The operation took less than 4 minutes from first shot to departure. The yacht used in the assassination was never publicly identified, but operational requirements suggest a vessel between 60 and 80 feet. Large enough for stability, small enough to avoid attention. Likely registered to a shell company in a neutral country. Its ownership impossible to trace back to Israel. The crew included the 2 snipers, a commander who coordinated with Israeli naval headquarters, a boat captain experienced in covert maritime operations, and at least one communications specialist maintaining encrypted contact with Israeli intelligence. Total personnel, 5 to 7 individuals. They departed from international waters west of Cyprus, approximately 18 hours before the strike. The transit to Syrian coastal waters took most of a day. The yacht traveled at cruising speed, looking completely ordinary. As they approached Syrian territorial waters after dark, the crew switched to night operations mode. All exterior lights off. Navigation by GPS and night vision. The yacht's hull color, likely dark blue or black, helped it blend into the Mediterranean at night. Syrian coastal radar did track vessels in the area, but a slow-moving yacht raised no alarms. Syria's navy focused on military threats, not pleasure craft. As long as the yacht didn't approach military installations or make suspicious maneuvers, it remained beneath the threshold of concern. By 10 p.m., the yacht was in position. The 2 snipers took their places on the deck. They wore dark fatigues, faces covered with camouflage paint. Their weapons were already zeroed for the specific distance, but They made final adjustments based on real-time conditions. The commander monitored communications with Israeli intelligence. Confirmation came through encrypted channels. Target is at Villa, on terrace, exposed. Weather conditions remain favorable. Authorization to proceed. At 10:35 p.m., through thermal optics and night vision scopes, the snipers acquired visual confirmation. Suleiman sat at the head of a table on the terrace, clearly identifiable from intelligence photographs. He was animated, gesturing as he spoke to guests. He wore light-colored clothing that contrasted against the dark background. The snipers spent several minutes observing. They needed to confirm no children were present. Collateral casualties were unacceptable. The guests were adults, far enough from Suleiman that suppressed rifle shots wouldn't immediately endanger them. The lead sniper whispered into his radio, "Target acquired, clear shot, requesting final authorization." In a secure facility somewhere in Israel, an officer reviewed the final checklist. Positive target identification, confirmed. Acceptable collateral risk, confirmed. Exit route secured, confirmed. The authorization came through. Execute. Both snipers made micro-adjustments. They had trained to fire simultaneously on a specific signal. The command came, 3 tones in their earpieces. First tone, final check. Second tone, breathing control. Third tone, fire. The shots were synchronized within milliseconds. 2 suppressed rifles fired at the exact moment the yacht's pitch brought the barrels into optimal alignment. Brigadier General Muhammad Suleiman, age 49, died instantly. The first bullet entered his head just behind the right ear, fragmenting through his brain. The second struck his upper chest, severing major blood vessels. He collapsed forward onto the table, dead before his body settled. Guests screamed. One woman stumbled backward, knocking over her chair. A man rushed to Suleiman, tried to check for pulse, pulled his hands back, covered in blood. Syrian security guards stationed at the villa's entrance sprinted to the terrace. They found chaos. Blood everywhere. The general obviously dead. But no shooter. No sound of gunfire they recognized. No clear understanding of what had just happened. By this time, the yacht was already moving. Engine at 3/4 throttle, heading west, back toward international waters. The snipers secured their weapons in waterproof cases. The deck was cleared of any evidence. Within minutes, the yacht looked like any other vessel cruising the Mediterranean. Syrian Coast Guard received reports of shots fired approximately 10 minutes after the assassination. Patrol boats were dispatched, but they had no specific target. They searched the coastal area but found no suspicious vessels. The yacht was already miles away, beyond visual range. Israeli naval assets monitored Syrian communications throughout the escape. If Syrian forces had moved to intercept, Israeli fighter jets were on standby to create a distraction or provide cover. But no interdiction came. The entire operation, from confirmation of target to safe extraction, lasted approximately 90 minutes. Of that, the actual assassination took less than 4 minutes. For 4 days, Syria said nothing. No official statement. No acknowledgement that anything had happened. The Damascus government's silence was deafening. Finally, on August 5, 2008, Syrian presidential advisor Bouthina Shaban confirmed Suleiman's death. Mohammed Suleiman, an officer in the Syrian Arab Army, has been assassinated. An investigation is underway. She offered no details about who killed him or how. Syria's muted response revealed strategic calculation. Admitting Israeli responsibility would require retaliation. But Syria couldn't retaliate without risking war with a militarily superior enemy. Silence became the least bad option. Then came the twist that made Suleiman's assassination legendary. On July 15, 2015, Nearly 7 years after the operation, The Intercept published classified NSA documents leaked by Edward Snowden. Among thousands of files detailing American intelligence operations was a single entry in a database called Intellipedia, the NSA's internal Wikipedia. The entry, titled Man-Hunting Timeline, listed high-value target eliminations tracked by U.S. intelligence. One line read, Muhammad Suleiman was assassinated by Israeli naval commandos near Tartus in August 2008. The document classified it as the first known instance of Israel targeting a legitimate government official. The marking SI indicated the intelligence came from Signals Intercept, meaning the NSA had monitored Israeli military communications and learned about the operation in real time. The revelation confirmed what many suspected. Shayetet 13 conducted the assassination, operating from sea, striking with precision and escaping without detection. Israel never officially acknowledged the operation. Mossad's policy is strategic ambiguity, neither confirm nor deny. But the Snowden leak removed all doubt. The world now knew Israel could reach deep into enemy territory, eliminate high-value targets, and maintain operational security so tight that confirmation took 7 years. The message to Syria, Iran, and Hezbollah was unmistakable. Distance provides no protection. Security details cannot stop a sniper shot from the sea. The men who plan attacks against Israel should remember, there is no safe villa, no protected terrace, no place beyond Israel's reach. Suleiman's assassination demonstrated that Israel's operational capabilities extended beyond airstrikes and ground raids. They could execute surgical strikes in denied territory using methods that left minimal evidence and maximum psychological impact. In the shadow of nuclear ambitions, when a nation decides it must act, the Mediterranean becomes a firing platform. And sometimes, 2 synchronized shots from a yacht in the darkness are all it takes to end a threat that conventional warfare couldn't touch.